Okay, what about now? Good morning. I'm so sorry. I was just talking and I did not realize that my audio was not on. Thank you. Good morning, Roberta. Good morning, Yakiel. I'm just letting you all know that we are now at the Unity Road Trip. We have now reached Tulsa, Oklahoma. Thank you, baby. And I'm excited to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm excited to learn the history of Wall Street, of Black Wall Street. I remember learning that there were 60 black towns, 60. So I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I would go to different communities like Chinatown, like Greek town, like Germantown, just different areas, Polish neighborhoods or communities. And I would think to myself, why isn't there anything like Africa Town or Black Town? And I remember once saying that, and an older person basically took me to a place, God, what state was that in? Where there was an Africa Town before, and that made me look to see, well, maybe there were black towns before, and I discovered a lot of black towns, but then I learned that there were over 60 black towns, 60 black towns started right out of slavery, right after the Civil War. Black towns were popping up everywhere where black folks were trying to build something for themselves. And then I wanted to know what happened to those towns. Like, even in California, there is a town called Allensworth, and it was started by Colonel Allensworth. And I remember going there and taking young people there as well. And then I learned about our government and the people in it, and other people as well, basically taking the railroad stop from Allensworth because they used to get a lot of business there. And then later, they found arsenic in the water. So, I was like, wow, what happened to all of these black towns where black people started? So I then learned about the red summer, not just summer, the red, RED, summer of 1919. And then that summer, and it really started in the first of the year in 1919, and I go on to later learn that a lot of these black towns were burnt to the ground by white folks, by governments and officials, and professional white people, and a lot of lynching took place in these places as well. They ran people off. So here we are, winding down this road trip, and now we're going to be in Tulsa. Now we're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to learn about Black Wall Street. Now, I studied a lot about Black Wall Street. I've seen lots of videos. I just really learned a lot. But this is like, to me, this is like, I feel so honored and so blessed to be in Tulsa. That's like if I ever had a chance to go to Rosewood or Elaine, Arkansas, or any of those towns where there were black people. Um, uh, I would do it because I feel like those ancestors must be honored and recognized and reverenced, if you will, because they really did try to give black people something of their own. You know what I mean? Because black people deserve to have something of their own. Those of us that want it, we deserve to have something of their own. On this road trip, we went to a couple of places in Chinatown, which has been really awesome for me. And I think to myself, wow, how impactful would that have been if black people had something like a Chinatown? And I would always hear, different black figures and leaders talk about that. So whether if that was Malcolm X, or if it was Elijah Muhammad, or if it was Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Marcus Garvey, if it were, so many different black figures and leaders talked about black people having something of their own. So when I hear black people try to make it seem like black folks could just be like everybody else, we can never be like everyone else because everyone has not had this experience of where there's been a whole system created to keep black folks down, or to make sure that we're like a permanent underclass, because we really do understand that in order for America to survive, she must have an underclass. That is the founding of who she is. And so let's not make any mistakes about it. But I go to these places like Tulsa, like Rosewood, like Elaine, Arkansas. And I mean, there's so many. I go to those places because there's something about standing in the energy of places like that. It keeps me focused on building. Even when I get really tired, like I don't want to do this anymore. My ancestors, the universe, the creator, whatever you call that force, reminds me of if they could do it, you could always do it. So I'm just very, very grateful to be standing in Tulsa. I'll try to come live today on my Facebook or something. I'm definitely going to try to do a lot of documentation. I have dialysis early tomorrow morning. I was supposed to go today, but they were able to move me to early in the morning because I did not want to miss this event. I don't want to miss being in Tulsa. Um, Man, there's something about it that it just reminds me that I got to. Um, it keeps me in the fight and it keeps me focused. And even if there comes a time where I'm not able to be out on the front lines or on the battlefields, I will definitely be the person supplying those who are. So it is a blessing to be here in Tulsa. It's a blessing to be on this Unity road trip. I'm grateful to Javon for always having vision and figure out different angles of trying to include other communities, but also making a way for the Black community as well at the same time. Um, I think some of us are born onto the planet with gifts and talents that we're supposed to use in this life. And I'm grateful that I feel like I found mine. I'm grateful that the universe is linking me with people who have theirs. And when you do that, you'll find yourself standing in places like Tulsa, helping you to stay firm on that gift and that talent. So thank y'all for listening. I'll come back live to y'all later on with some stuff from Tulsa. I hope y'all have a magnificent day.